Let's get into it. Nuggets Clippers. Scotty, what should we look forward to tonight as we hope? And I think people are probably pretty optimistic that the Nuggets will take care of business tonight.
I got to put Mike down. I think it's going to be just like all the series. I think it's going to be hard fought. I expect the Clippers to come out and try to say that this series we believe we can win a game there. And I think you got to hold the fort. I think you can't panic. I think you just got to play. And then if you're within touch, I think once you get to the third quarter, midway third, I think they're going to realize, man, we got to do this one more time and get on a plane and fly. And I think you can take advantage of it.
You got to remind him.
I think this is a great chance to win a game on the road.
Yeah, you got to remind him. I mean, it was not too long ago that you're down 2-1 and Denver's won back-to-back games, right? And when that happens, if you can give the Clippers affirmation early on, you cross your fingers and hope that they get the affirmation that they think that, hey, this ain't going to go the way that we want. So get your ball going again has got to be a key, right? Because I think the Clippers got to be looking at that like, what were we supposed to do? Kind of like we felt about Kawhi. If you can get your ball going early, to me, that's even better than getting Nikola going early.
On Twitter, the question is simply this. Who are you more confident to win tonight, the Avalanche or the Nuggets? We just put it up there, so we'll see a level of confidence or perhaps anxiety. We'll keep tabs of that. Go to Altitude Sports Radio on Twitter, and you can vote on that, Doodad. We'd appreciate it. What is unique about Game 6s, Scott, in general? And what is unique about Game 6s when you have the lead compared to when you're down 3-2? You've seen it both ways.
Game 6, when you've got home court and got the lead, there's a tendency to relax, and I think that's the biggest mistake you want. If you go back and look at that Phoenix series, whenever you won it, you went on vacation for 2, lost 2 down there, came back, took care of business in Game 5, and then it was all business for Game 6. But then you can remember Game 6 last year to Minnesota, same round, right? Second round of the playoffs, and you basically completely took that game for granted, took it off after fighting your way back from down 2-0 to taking a 3-2 lead. You just gave that game up, and then, even though you had the big lead, again, you rested because you got a 20-point lead and thought it was over, and you got surprised and caught. I think you take a lesson from the Phoenix series. A lot of the key pieces were in that building during that one, and you come out and try to blow them away. Who knows? Maybe Clippers fold earlier than the second half.
What if you're losing 3 like the Clippers? Where's their head at? I guess my question is it easier to get a team to quit that's down 3-2? I'm not saying they're quitting going into the game, but as the game goes on, is it easier to just get them down to the point where they just naturally don't have the same sense of urgency?
When here's how you get a team to quit. You get a team to quit when they do and throw out their best at you, and you stand there in front of them and take it.
Okay.
Minnesota threw your best in Game 6 last year, and you just wilted. And put up no resistance. And took it for granted Game 7 at home. So the quit, for a lack of a better word, because they may not. You may have to go and take this game, and it may be hard fought for 48 minutes, and you may have to have someone hit a shot like you did in Game 4. That may come down to that as well. But you got to be in front of them. They won't quit if you ain't in front of them. If you ain't in front of them, they ain't going to quit.
So this is all about heart for the Clippers more than anything.
I think it's about heart for the Nuggets as well. I think it's about, okay, what have you determined what you want, and do you really believe that you got a chance? And listen, I think that, a lot of people have already written off whoever wins this series against Oklahoma City. They've kind of just, given the entire series to Oklahoma City. I think Oklahoma City, whether it's Denver or the Clippers, is going to have a heck of a battle on their hand.
Well, Oklahoma City, if the Nuggets, in theory, were able to finish out this series the way that they played the last 2 games, specifically the last one, that was the best game. It's Scott, we were talking about this. I'd be curious your thoughts. Last time the Nuggets had such a complete game as they did in that last one. But Oklahoma City, they're looking at that team. If the Nuggets finish that off, that's got to feel like we originally thought Dallas felt about facing the Avs. Like, really? We got to face the Nuggets when they're getting hot?
Well, yeah. Maybe so. I think people get paused. You know, it's like that bully gets up in a schoolyard fight, and all of a sudden punches a guy. Kid stands back up and swings back at you and lands one on the nose. The bully all of a sudden goes, "Oh, wait a minute! Someone's actually calling me on this." Listen, you got to expect the Clippers to come out and want a home hold court and extend the series. So and you just got to expect that. So to me, it's all about the Nuggets. You're going to come out and say, no, we're in this. You know, I saw a schedule depending on what it is. Game 7, you're either playing Monday or Tuesday, like we said, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if something else happens, and I think there's another, if there's no Game 7 or there is a Game 7, that series doesn't start till the 6th, which is Tuesday. Well, for a team that's fought injuries all year long, if you can end this thing today on a Thursday, and you may have the possibility of not playing until Tuesday. Come on now.
Come on now.
So now you got a chance to go in that Oklahoma City series a lot more rested. Now, if you play Saturday and have a Game 7, and now it's whether it's Monday or Tuesday, you're basically get on a plane and go again. So get this thing tonight, have the mindset, let's finish this sucker, and let's take off all day Friday and all day Saturday before we got to really get back to work and start concentrating on Oklahoma City. Man, you got to do that, man. You got to take advantage. When I won a championship in Pistons, they were so focused on that. When we played, and I think we beat Boston in the semis, and I think the Knicks in the first round. Knicks or Indiana, one of the two. I think Knicks. Dude, it was in this series. Hey, let's don't screw around. Let's get this thing off, and let's get some rest. And hopefully they're veteran enough to kind of realize that, don't you?
Yeah. I think so. And you know what? I think the Nuggets are playing with house money here to a certain degree. After firing Booth and Malone, nobody was giving the Nuggets any kind of shot in these playoffs. Seriously. Nobody was really talking about them, despite how great Nikola is. It wasn't happening. Nobody was like, oh, my God, look out for the Nuggets. Everybody just expected them to sort of fizzle.
Yep.
And you could make the argument, so did Nuggets management, which is why they made the change. Like David Adelman, it's so funny because Scott was asking him about the X-Files. Boy, we're getting a breakdown, Scott, of how the X-Files are going these days, right?
How about that, huh?
It was pretty funny. You know, just some history. So I asked Adelman, you know, before the start of the series, how'd you sleep last night? He goes, great. Watching the X-Files with the kids. And he's like, what are their names? Skulder and... Mulder?
Mulder and Scully.
Mulder and Scully. They're really into things. So Scott comes back a couple of games later and is like, what's happening with the X-Files? And what did Adelman say, Scott?
A lot of seasons.
Well,
he said, oh, man, a lot of seasons. They're in that real deep part right now. But I think that says more about David. He even though it's his first time doing this, it just feels like he's taking the right attitude,
right?
Don't you guys think?
Totally. And I think it's a really positive place to come from.
We really have never seen him, like, look J.J. Redick type of nervous, you know?
No, I was just going to say, whatever pressure is on the Nuggets, it's squarely on the shoulders of the players more than the coaching staff. The coaching staff is sort of resigned to the fact that kind of no matter what, everything's going to be looked at in the offseason, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's really on the players, Scott, to see what they're all about. And you know what? We saw the competitive spirit with Jamal Murray and Russell Westbrook, which means playing loose, having fun, rocking the baby, having some personality out there. It's so funny because as calm as Jokic is, the rest of this Nuggets team is filled with emotion. AG and Christian Brown with the flexing, Russell Westbrook, Jamal Murray. This team is loaded, Scott, with characters and emotion aside from Yoke.
Right. Yeah. I don't disagree with that. And I still think you see it from Joker in different ways. You know what I'm saying?
Sure,
you don't
of
see
course.
the raw thing. You see it in different ways. But, yeah, no, listen. I think I've heard this said before, and I don't know, maybe we said it yesterday, I don't know. But that team that showed up in Game 5 can go a long way in these playoffs.
For what it's worth, too. There was only one player on the Nuggets on the injury report. One. Deron Holmes. That's it. Who's out for the year, but still on the roster. There's nobody else on the injury report.
That seems relative to what pain is, I guess.
Just telling you the way it is.
A little bit surprising. You don't have Michael Porter Jr. on there. A little bit surprising. Sure, you can have all those guys on there at any given second.
Yeah, we're talking about some players on the Avalanche seemingly wilting a little bit. Where was James Harden in Game 5? Where was that dude? Where's his heart?
I would go back to Game 4, and after just a take foul that you had to do because you had one to give, and he blows a gasket like he did.
Mm-hmm.
That may have been that's where he is right there.
Yeah.
And did I send you guys a clip? I don't even know if I can still find it right now. The minutes that, other than Game 1, the minutes that Christian Brown has gone head up with James Harden has struggled. And I think you where has he been? Look at the frustration, and maybe you want to look at what Christian Brown's been doing defensively.
We always tend to look as our team at the other team, but from the other team's perspective, how would you like to have a 3-year pro like Christian Brown in the prime of his physical peak on your bucket every single day, every single second, every single moment out there on the court? How'd you like to have Christian Brown up in your business, up and down the court for 48 minutes or whatever?
Yeah, James Harden says hello.
And let's be honest, and you got 15 years in the league, right?
That's right. It adds up, doesn't it?
It ain't like you're a spring chicken right now either.
It's funny because Ty Lue, before Game 5, he was asked about hey, it's a slow pace of play. And his response was, oh, yeah, we got to pick it up. I'm looking at him like, right? Really? That's your strategy? To pick up the pace against the Nuggets? Really?
Who want to play with a little bit more pace, right?
Of course. I think playing with pace factors into the Nuggets' success. You could play with pace against the Nuggets, but you better shoot well. Because if you don't, the Nuggets are going to run you out of the gym. And I understand that there are times the Nuggets have looked like an old, beaten-down team. But the essence of the Nuggets game is to run and to be quick and to not shoot threes. So, I don't know, man. I think that plays into the Nuggets' hands. I do have one concern, Scott, real quick. Points in the paint that they allowed to the Clippers. And I know you sort of forget about any bad thing because you did get the win. But I was a little concerned with that. It looked like the Clippers were getting way too many easy buckets.
Well, and what was it? Was it the second quarter or early third where they all of a sudden decided, hey, listen, we're not making the jump shots. I think second. And they said, we got to get the paint. And that's where the number of their paint points really went. And I agree with that. But you are going to give up something. And I think what they've decided that Dunn and Zubac can have big games, but no one else is going to beat you.